Heart Care Foundation of India. We're keeping all of his work alive. We are keeping all of his initiatives alive. And as you've been seeing since the past couple of days, we've had many exciting workshops, panels. We've had a lot of competitions. It was amazing to see over 2,000 people coming in and participating in the various competitions that have taken place, both from schools, colleges, very, very young children to college going adults. It's been absolutely amazing, the talent that exists in our country. And thank you everyone for supporting us and for joining us. This is the session when we are going to be announcing all the results for the dance competitions for Divya Jyoti and Medakumasti. We have classical dance, we have Western dance, we have folk dance, we have a lot of exciting things coming up. But before we get into announcing some of the results, and I also have someone very, very special joining me in the next 45 minutes or so. She is Pandit Birju Maharaj's granddaughter. So I'm also going to be speaking to her on her journey with Kathak, what she feels classical dance means to her. But I'm going to start with Paramita here. Paramita also, is a passionate dancer, is a passionate singer. She is someone who's had a tryst with the classical forms of music and dance. So just to understand, Paramita, thanks for joining us here. Um, what does music and what does music and dance mean to you? Does it, how is that a way of bringing mental peace, physical well-being? How do you kind of inculcate music and dance into your life, for a work-life balance, for overall harmony, for overall happiness?
Hi, Naina. Thank you for having me here. And it's a pleasure to be a part of the Perfect Health Mela. Yes, I believe, dance is a form of an art, right? Like we have any language, we speak in a language. Dance has its own vocabulary, it has its own content, it has its own forms of expression. So, dance is a complete thing in itself, and it obviously helps a lot in giving us a balance in life. Like when I practice dance, and like I have a 1-year-old daughter, even when she hears music, she beams in joy and she starts dancing on her own. Obviously, she does not know dance as a form or dance as an art. She does not know even the concept of dance, but I can see the happiness and joy that comes in that 2 minutes when she's dancing. So, dance for me is an absolute source of joy and ethereal happiness that comes from within, like the expressions, the abhinay, the mudras, that were all connected deeply to a form. I mean, when we are expressing something, dance is a non-verbal communication, right? So it gives us that freedom of expression. And when we are dancing, when we see people dance, the joy and the content and the happiness that it is very important in today's life, at least when we are so stressed, when we are so worked out, when we are so busy in our different walks of life. I think that gives that sense of calm and
So I have one more question. I mean, for me, I'm also a trained Kathak dancer. I've learned Kathak for over 10 years. I took to Kathak when I was very, very young. What Kathak taught me growing up was discipline, right?
very
It taught you the meaning of discipline. It taught you the meaning of posture. It taught you the meaning of having some amount of poise, dealing with things in a calm way. It brought patience to me. So, what do you think about that? Because that's my personal experience with classical dance.
like to learn any form of art, you need a minimum amount of discipline. And I think dance teaches you that. Uh, Discipline is one thing, patience is, I think, one thing that I've learned a lot from dance. Even I've been dancing from a very young age, especially like being a Bengali, you are, even if you don't want, you're put into dancing, and slowly it became my passion. But yes, patience is something like holding on to a particular pose for a long time. In the initial days, they do not teach you the full dance. They mainly start with those postures, and for months and months, you're doing the same posture so that you perfect that art. You perfect that posture. So I think patience is one thing I definitely agree that comes from within practicing dance.
So, are you going to be introducing your daughter Toya to dance and music?
Yes,
Is
yes,
that
yes, yes. I am very, very eager to introduce her to both dancing and singing. Obviously, she can choose her forte later, but I will surely introduce her to this form because this is something not just an extracurricular activity. This is something that I think refines her personality also overall. So, all young kids should be introduced. Later, obviously, when the burden of studies increase, when we go to higher classes, it's not always possible. That even I left dancing in between. When we went to higher classes, because then studies took a priority, and sometimes these things take a backseat. But initial years, everybody should engage in all this extracurricular activities, especially dance, because it refines you overall as a person.
Thank you, Paramita. We'll bring you on in a bit. I'm going to hand over to Sakshi to start announcing the awards. Please stay tuned. We will be announcing the awards. I also have multiple special guests joining us through this session who will talk about their interest with classical dancing, how and what they have learned from it, and a lot. There's a lot that each one of you can learn, from individual experiences. Because one thing the pandemic has taught us is the importance of patience, is the importance of our own mental health and physical well-being, and that's something music and dance brings into your lives. um, Sakshi, you want to get to the awards? Let's start with the first category of awards, please. Ritu, you want to share your screen? And I just want to say one thing, that while we are announcing awards, we are announcing winners. The kind of entries we've got, we really genuinely believe and feel that every person is a winner. The entries were absolutely exceptional. While we'll be awarding some people today, we are also going to be awarding people through the days till Sunday, because the Perfect Health Mela is on till then. We have special awards, we have three special awards, all of those which are happening as well. Another thing for everyone logged in here, we have not just various competitions and workshops that are happening here. We also have a free OPD. Minded, it's completely free. It's not just a health OPD. We have a finance OPD where you can get questions answered on your investments, on shares, on how to save tax. We have a legal OPD where our lawyers there to tell you how to make a will, what are the things that you must do, especially during the pandemic, to safeguard the lives of your children. If you have any other legal queries, we have a spiritual OPD. If you have any questions regarding the Bhagavad Gita or any other spiritual aspect, we have a family medicine doctor, we have a GP, we have a mental health counselor. We also have educational counseling for children, we have a dentist, we have a homeopath, so multiple different doctors who are giving free consultation. The Zoom ID for that is 842-909-21517. I'm repeating that. Zoom ID for that free OPD that's happening from the morning till the evening is 842-909-21517. It's happening every day until Sunday evening. So please do join in. Over to you, Sakshi and Ritu.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, Now we will begin with the award ceremony. Let's start with the folk dance group. And congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to everybody that participated. We are extremely grateful that you joined us in this endeavor in the Mela. So congratulations to College of Nursing, Army Hospital Research and Reference for the third prize in folk dance group. Thank you. Thank you to Army College of Nursing. Is anybody from the group on call? We'll call you on stage. If anybody is on call, please let me know. Just put it on the chat box. We'll call you on stage, have a little conversation with you. Know your love about dancing. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Let's move on to the second winner in the folk dance group category. And the award goes to Lakshmi Batra College. Congratulations to you.
Vande शुभारंभ हो शुभारंभ मंगल बेला आई सपनों की लहरी पे दिल की बाजी रे शहनाई 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 हमको प्यार से दिया वाले छूटे के हार से दिया वाले जीते हार से दिया वाले दुश्मन के छक्के छुड़ा दे हम इंडिया वाले दुश्मन के छक्के छुड़ा दे हम इंडिया वाले
Congratulations to you. Many congratulations to you. So, to build a little suspense, and since we have the great world-renowned Kathak dance and connoisseur, Miss Shinvi Kulkarni with us for this panel from 1 p.m., we will announce the first winners after the panel. It's a very interesting panel. She will tell you about her journey as a Kathak dancer, how she got into the profession, about Kathak in general, about the different various attributes of dance, of folk dance or various kinds of dances. So please stay tuned for that. Now let's move on to the third winner in congratulations to both colleges for winning. Now let's move on to the third winner in Ritu, what are we doing next? Which category?
Western dance group.
Okay, Western dance group. Let us move to that category now. So the third winner in the Western dance group goes to Lakshmi Bai Batra College. Congratulations to you, Lakshmi Bai.
One second.
If anybody from the dance group is present, or any of the winners or any of the participants are present, please let me know in the chat box. We'll call you on stage, do a little chit chat with you. We want to know about you. We want to know the talent that has come to our organization, has come to the Mela. Please let us know, and let's have a little conversation.
जाना ढूंढे तुझे दीवाना सपनों में रोज आए आ जिंदगी में आना चल जाना ढूंढे तुझे दीवाना सपनों में रोज आए आ जिंदगी में आना सनम मुझको हुई न खबर चोरी चोरी छुप छुप कर अरे मुझको हुई न खबर चोरी चोरी छुप छुप कर कब प्यार की पहली नजर ले गई ले गई ले गई ले गई ले गई ले गई ले जवाब तेरे जन्म में हजार तेरा भी पता है मैं ना मानू कभी हार तेरी मेरी दुनिया में तेरे सब क्या मैं हूँ एक एंजल और डेविल मेरा यार तेरे जैसा दुनिया में कोई भी नहीं जिसे ढूंढती नजर लगे तू ही है वही परियों की रानी हूँ मैं सबसे हटी पर तेरे बिना किक मुझे मिलती नहीं जिन्हें याद ना मर जाना जिन्हें प्यार ना मर जाना
Congratulations to you, Lakshmi Batra College. So, do we have anybody from the college on this call? Anybody?
If anyone's there, you can put it in the chat box or raise your hands in case you're not able to unmute yourself. So, if any of the winners are there, anyone wants to interact with us, do raise your hands and we'll unmute you.
That's okay. Let's move on to the second prize in Western Dance Group. Congratulations to College of Nursing, Army Hospital Research and Reference. Before we move on, we have Pratiksha Chauhan from Lakshmibai Batra College here with us. So, Pratiksha, please turn on your camera. We'll bring you on spotlight. Hi, Pratiksha. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Fine.
Congratulations on winning.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
So, were you a part of the folk dance or the Western dance group?
We were in the Western folk dance and group dance also.
Congratulations for folk dance. You won the second prize, and for Western, you won the third prize.
Ma'am, please pardon.
For folk dance, your group won the second prize, and for Western, you won the third prize. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Everybody, please unmute yourselves and give it up for them. They worked super hard. All of you worked super hard. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Pratiksha. So, do you love? Are you free to chit chat a bit? If you're not, that's fine. Okay, that's all right, Pratiksha.
Sorry, ma'am. Actually, no, we are posted in a posting with the students. That's why I'm not able to join at a time. That is the
No
reason.
issues, Pratiksha. No, we completely understand. That's fine.
Okay.
Come first. That's okay.
Okay.
Have a nice day, Pratiksha.
Thank you
Congratulations
so
on
much.
winning.
Thanks
Please
a
convey
lot.
to your peers as well.
Yeah,
Everybody in the group.
definitely, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's move on to the second. Okay, we saw the second winner of the Western dance group as well. Now let's move on to the solo category, the dance solo category. Uh, Drum roll before we announce the third winner. Before that, congratulations to everybody who participated. We truly cherish your talent. Congratulations from Tanisha from DPSRU. Congratulations to Tanisha.
The day of competition.
Congratulations to Tanisha. That was brilliantly done. And that's beautiful. Tanisha, you're on call? Tanisha, sorry, are you on call? We love to have you here. And since you dance blindfolded, know about your process with that. Okay, I don't think she's here. But Tanisha, congratulations. You danced blindfolded or something. I can't dance with my eyes open. That was beautiful. Thank you for participating and joining us in the 28th Perfect Health Mela. Let's move. Let's move on to the second winner in the dance solo category for college students. Congratulations to Nikita Bhati from RAK College of Nursing.
उसकी बाहों में अब है ये जिंदगी क्यों है सांसों में बातों में रोशनी सूरज की बाहों में अब है ये जिंदगी क्यों है सांसों में बातों में रोशनी जो एक पल में
Congratulations to Nikita Rathi. Tanisha, I see you've joined us. Do you want to come on camera? You won the third prize, Tanisha, for dance solo. Congratulations to you. Okay, I think she's in a poor network area, but everybody please unmute yourself and give a big round of applause to Tanisha and everybody who participated. We'll know about the results very soon after the panel. So since we have a 30 minutes wait time after our esteemed panelist joins us, before our esteemed panelist joins us. So is there anybody who wants to chat, who wants to tell me about their love for dance, who wants to dance for us? That would be great if that could happen. If somebody would volunteer to dance, because we would all love to see it. Okay, I understand it's very early in the afternoon. Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, guys. As Nena ma'am previously mentioned, we also have a special category for people, for students that have participated for dancers that we could not put into categories because they were so damn good. So we call them judges special awards. These awards were suggested to us by the judges because they couldn't decide because of the immense talent we got on the platform. So since we have time before our panelist joins us, let's do that. Let's announce awards. Let's announce results of the judges special awards. Let us start with the Western dance group. Ritu, can we see your screen, please?
For dance.
Yeah, Western dance group. Congratulations to Holy Family College.
last one's love. Oh, show me you can be the Don't act like you forgot. I caught a shot. Like black, black, black. Y'all should know me more than that.
Congratulations to Holy Family. Is there somebody on call from that group? We can call you on stage, have a little chit chat with you. Please just raise your hand or just put it in the chat box. We'd love to hear about you, your journey.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Ria. Thank you for joining us. Can you please turn on your video? Hi,
Hello.
Ria. Thank you. Congratulations. Your group
Thank
won
you.
the Judges Special Award. That's
Thank
a
you.
very special category for us. So tell me about your group, yourself. How did you prepare for the competition?
It was pretty difficult because we had to do all our assignments quickly and then we had to go for our dance practice and we were all pretty dedicated towards it.
So how many people were there in your group?
8 people were there.
Okay, congratulations. Did you love dancing? Is that something you're doing since you were a kid?
Yes, I love dancing.
Ria, I have some questions for you also. Hi, nice to meet you. Congratulations.
Yes.
So
Hello.
tell us about
Thank you.
yourself. How passionate are you about dancing? How do you balance your, your life, especially from pursuing your passion for dance and also doing your assignments and everything else? How does it work? I want everyone here to know that they can be creative, they can have creative expression, and also continue with what they do. So how do you manage it?
I usually just try to complete my assignments as soon as possible and then whenever I get the time I just start playing music and even in a small space I start dancing. And sometimes I learn dances from YouTube, dances routines, and then I practice them.
Very nice. So how does dance bring you mental well-being and peace? How do you connect with dance?
Can you please repeat?
I'm saying, do you dance when you're stressed? Do you dance when you're happy? How do you emotionally connect with dance?
Uh, I like to dance when I'm stressed, especially because it helps me calm down.
And what about, so do you think it's a great way of expressing yourself? How do you channel?
Definitely.
Congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sakshi, are you there?
No.
Sakshi, 0 hour again, while we're getting to announcing our other results. Sakshi, what do you think about, you've been anchoring this, you've been awarding all the people, you've been there through the competitions. You've watched all the performances. Did that bring you some sort of mental peace? Did that bring you happiness? Did all the performances kind of make a difference to you, to how your day goes?
Ma'am, I think I've gained a lot of confidence after watching everybody perform, which is the sort of talent I have seen and the sort of people I have met during this time. I think I would like to explore more creatively, and I already paint, so that's something I de-stress from. But
Hmm.
then maybe I could dance for fun, I could sing for fun. It's just this journey has taught me that you don't need to be good at a creative front. You could just do it for fun, and you could just do it because you like it and you enjoy it. You don't have to necessarily be famous for it. Like I met somebody yesterday. They were a great actor, but they said that they're not popular in college for their acting. So that is something that I've realized that creative art, different kind of art forms is something that everybody could do just for fun, and everybody could do just because it makes them happy and it brings them mental peace as you specified. Naina ma'am, question for you. You are a trained Kathak dancer, as you mentioned yesterday. How was your journey, ma'am? How did you get into the entire field of Kathak, and how did you just start your journey?
I got trained in Kathak. I got trained in Kathak for about 10 years. I stopped doing it because obviously I wanted to do everything. So I did a little bit of Western dance. I did a lot of classical dance. Um, Also played the harmonium, also played the drums, also played a lot of other instruments. Um, I believe that I'm a creative person. So I may not be a very musical person, but I am a creative person. I do like dancing for fun. I do believe that it brings a lot of peace mentally to you. I also do believe it teaches you patience, it teaches you discipline, it teaches you a lot of important sort of lessons in life overall. And that's really what we're discussing today, right? The joy that dancing brings in each person's life, and it's a way of creative out it's a creative outlet for each and every person and what they do. And what is it, how can we channel it in the right way? How can we encourage others to maybe pick up an art form? To really, the whole concept of art therapy comes from there, right? Art therapy is creative expression using some sort of any outlet, whatever may work for you. We have a lot of nursing colleges here. They live a very, very stressful life. The COVID pandemic is been very, very hard for them. And how do you cope with that? How do you have a sense of calm? How do you feel that work life balance? Maintaining sanity really by the end of it becomes very, very important. So there are multiple things that you can do, and you can engage with. I also have Maima here. Maima, you want to share your journey with dance? What are the different forms of dance that you've done? How does that help you in life? How does that help you, overall become a better person, or a more positive person? Why don't you
Yeah,
share that with us?
sure. So, starting with dance is almost everything for me. I'm a very passionate dancer, and since a very young age, I started dancing. So, I would like to say that dance brings peace to my soul, body, mind, everything. So, till the time I was in regular practice of dance, I never felt ill. I was always an energetic and always a very, kind, smart, and disciplined person. But the moment I stopped dancing, I started facing little issues in my personal life, in my health, and everything. So, yeah, dance was, I would like to say that dance is a very important part of my life, and I want to resume dancing. And I've learned a lot of dance forms like Bharatnatyam to start with a classical dance form, and ballet, hip hop, freestyle, and many other dance forms. So one thing what Bharatnatyam taught me when I used to perform in Mandir, when I used to tie ghungroos on my feet, that used to bring a little peace to my mind, and the sound of ghungroos was amazing. So yes, dance is very important, not only for it's not for just your passion, it's not for following a hobby or anything, but for your physical fitness, mental fitness, it helps you a lot.
So since you mentioned that you've done both classical and Western forms of dance, right?
Yes.
What do you feel is the difference between the two? I mean, of course, again, from personal experience, I've done both too, and they're
Hmm.
completely different, but the benefits that they have on you are very similar, right? It both
Yes.
teach you a lot of things. So one in Bharatnatyam, what were your key learnings from Bharatnatyam and what were your key learnings from hip hop, two completely different forms of dance?
Yeah. So if I talk about Bharatanatyam, so in that, one thing was discipline. So when I used to make any kind of mistake while performing, I used to, my teacher, my guru used to say, like, sit in one mudra for like 1 hour. So that I have never faced during when I was learning hip hop or any other dance form. So that kind of discipline which brings in your life is the classical dance form. The When we used to perform, when we used to get ready for Bharatanatyam dance, it used to take like 4, 5, 8 hours in a day, getting ready from putting alta on your hand and feet, doing that hairdo, which was very difficult, putting all those accessories, putting all those costumes. So that was really difficult to be in that, performing on the stage. While if I go to another Western dance form, that was very, very different. Like, they give you a chance being free,
Yes.
like whatever you feel like, whatever you want to express, you can express through that dance form. And the costumes and the clothes are very different, and the way you perform is very different, the way you learn is very different. And that hip hop brought stamina, brought flexibility, brought endurance in my life. So that's how these both dance forms differs.
So in classical dance, right? And I remember I've done a little bit of Bharatanatyam for shows, and I've done Kathak, of
Hmm.
course, trained form. You
Yes.
start with a prayer, right? You start
Right.
saluting your
Yes.
crew, and you start with saluting the floor that you're dancing on, and you're
Yes.
it. So for me, that's being grounded, right? That teaches you
Yes.
why it's important, no matter who it is. It could be the it could be a celebrity doing it, it could be someone who's a business person doing it. Everyone starts the same way, right? Everyone's
And one thing was like, when you do Western dance, you can perform at any kind of stage. But when you perform Bharatanatyam, your first performance is to be in mandir.
yeah,
So yeah, that brings you nearer to your roots and culture and everything.
yeah. So it teaches you how to be humble. It teaches you
Yes.
how to never forget where you come from. It teaches you the importance of respecting the platform that you get. It teaches you the importance of, and the to be thankful to your guru or to anyone else,
Yes.
right? All of those things make a lot of difference, because if you don't learn those values in life, you may have the best job, you may have the most money in the world, you may have a private jet, but you're not going to be a person
Mm.
that other people love and respect by the end of it. So
Yes.
that's the point of that. And I think that's what classical dance, that's what a lot of different dance forms teach you, in addition to the physical fitness aspect of it, and in addition
Right.
to those benefits. So all of that becomes very, very important. Another thing, I mean, like you mentioned, postures, right? Holding the
Yes.
posture, holding a mudra, holding tying. I remember when I used to do Kathak, I used to tie those gungrus with 1,000 gungrus on it.
Yes.
Heavy, right? But it teaches you again. Of course, it has physical health benefits. That's the whole concept of weighted walking and training, and how you have ankle weights that people use. Those were technically ankle weights with music,
Yes.
right? But again, you worshipped your gurus. That's again something. So you respected and thanked anything that brought you joy,
Yeah,
whether
so
it
in
was a
Western and Bharatanatyam, both we were taught to respect your props, respect your costume, respect the floor on which you perform.
yeah,
So, I mean, you have to respect everything which is related to the dance form, to your performance, or to anything. So, it also teaches you how to be humble, respectful towards everything in your life. So,
yeah.
yeah, so that's what.
So that's, I mean, I think that's the beauty of dance. That's the
Yes.
beauty of music, that's the beauty of any art form, and that's very important. Especially during the ongoing pandemic, like I mentioned, people are really struggling, and that's something that we don't recognize as much. Even dance schools, for that instance,
Hmm.
everything shut during the pandemic. People didn't know. Suddenly, people had to start teaching online. The beauty of
Yes.
dance was to learn it in front of your guru, and then suddenly it became a Zoom call. But that's how you really adapt, and that's how you go. That's how you adapt to life. And the good part is that now every Kathak, every Bharatnatyam teacher has access to people from across the world.
Yes.
Sitting in San Francisco can learn from their guru in India. So there are also clear advantages of that. Thank you, Maima, for joining us. I'm going to continue
Thank you.
discussing, the importance of dance with various people. Sakshi, do you want to start by announcing the winner of the folk dance category, and then we will go into the discussion with our special guest for today?
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much. Uh, so as Naina ma'am stated, let's announce the winner for the folk dance group category. Congratulations to Holy Family College. Can we please have them on screen?
रंग रंग के रूप हमारे जैसे एक उपवन को दर्शाते हैं। एक ही जल से सींचे गए हम एक ही पवन में लहराते हैं। जिस मिट्टी में जन्मे हम उस शुद्ध धरा के अलग अलग ढंग से ही सही मगर एकता से। यहाँ हर कदम पर हम बेघर की रंग, यहाँ की भोले भी रंगोली सात रंग, यहाँ हर कदम पर हम बेघर की रंग, यहाँ की भोले भी रंगोली सात रंग। खानी पगड़ी पहने नीली चादर सपने
Congratulations to you. Do we have somebody? Do we have somebody on call from the group? Okay, so
If there's anyone, if
that's
you can raise
fine.
your hands because people will not be able to unmute themselves. If there is anyone, you can put it in the chat box or you can raise your hand.
Yeah, and we'll call you. We'll call you. We'll put you on spotlight. We'll have a little conversation with you about your love for dance.
Sakshi, while we wait, why don't you tell us, why don't you give everyone a little bit of an overview of folk dance, right? A lot of people don't understand folk dance entirely. What is folk dance? Maybe you can talk a little about that for all the people who logged in.
All right, ma'am. Thank you. So, my understanding of folk dance is basically, since India is known as a country that is so immensely culturally diverse. We have various people from various states and various cultures that belong to various states. So I'm from Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, every 4 kilometer we have a different language. We have a different kind of a culture. We have different traditions. We have different dances, so to say. So I think folk dance is a celebration of what was traditionally grounded, a celebration of people that have celebrated their customs through a form of dance, a form of art, which is dance. So it's a culture. It's an art form that keeps a culture of people alive. It keeps, like I would like to state, the roots of people's traditions alive. The roots of Rajasthani folks. Rajasthani dance is the root of where I belong. Is the root of where I come from. So it primarily keeps a culture of people alive by sharing and teaching younger generations the dances. Dance keeps the history of people alive as well. So since we are such an old culture, we're such an old country, I feel like people from my generation especially, we know where our ancestors came from because of art, because of folk art. That includes dancing, singing, folk singing, and paintings as well. So yeah,
Just
that's
adding,
what I feel.
just adding to that, a lot of us have been to Havelis for vacations. We've been to Rajasthan. We've been to, different parts of the country. Even when you go to Punjab, I mean, every place that we go to, we see the colorful folk dances of those places, right? Even if you go to a heritage property, they will have an evening show of colorful folk dances. The whole idea of that is to connect you to the culture of the state. And the good part is that every state in India has a different culture, has a different way of dressing, from the olden times. And that's what's amazing, right? Because if all of those touch points didn't exist, we won't even know what the folk dances are. We won't know what their traditional costumes are. We won't know what their makeup looks like, what their jewelry looks like. Plus, if you saw all the videos, and especially the winning videos, a lot of the people, the sync with which everyone, dance, the coordination, the passion that folk dance brings to your life, the happiness because of the sheer colors around, in the costumes, the props which are used. A lot of times people use a matka, people use different common props to tell a story, and that's what's so important, and that's what kind of differentiates it from any other dance form, right? So that's really what it is. Should we announce the winner of the Western dance category first before we go into the discussion? Just for everyone to know a couple of things, we're going to be going into a discussion with Miss Shinjani Kulkarni. She is a Kathak connoisseur. She's also the granddaughter of Pandit Biju Maharaj. She will share her journey with Kathak very, very soon. Also, one more thing for everyone here. We have a free OPD that's running parallelly as we speak from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. The Zoom ID of the same is 842-909-21517. So please log in for the free Zoom OPD. You have finance counseling, legal counseling, health counseling, mental well-being, spiritual counseling, and a lot of other things. So please stay tuned. Hi Shinjani, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nanaji. I'm just trying to connect my audio in a more proper way, and then I will be able to hear you better.
For everyone here, we are going to be going into a very, very exciting and interesting panel discussion right now. We have Ms. Chinjini Kulkarni, as mentioned. She's a Kathak connoisseur. She's also the granddaughter of Pandit Birju Maharaj. She's a world-renowned Kathak dancer. She is the expert. Everyone here who's logged in on all our social media channels with over 15 lakh subscribers, and all the people who've logged in here just to know the announcement of the results. You guys are all passionate dancers, whether it's classical dance, Western dance, and folk dance. We received over 2,000 entries over the past, 10 days. We've screened those many people on various art forms. These are all people from colleges, from schools, nurses. Before you joined, a lot of the videos that we played were the winners of nurses who are performing, and nursing students. Have been really really impacted by the pandemic. They're balancing between their studies, between volunteering, and a lot of other things. So salute to every person there for balancing their life and for continuing your passion with dance. So without further ado, welcome to this session. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to start by asking you about your journey with Kathak. How you started? Did you start when you were very very young? You come from a family of classical dancers. So how has your journey been so far?
Nana, it's a very interesting question and a question that keeps getting asked to us. I belong to a family where I'm the ninth consecutive generation who are practicing Kathak, and I have over a dozen dancers in my family. So
Wow.
that's really the family occupation, just like yours is in the medical fraternity.
Yeah.
I started learning at the age of 3, and training is almost a way of life at home. So we do not even know when we get initiated into it, and it becomes a part of your festivals, of your gatherings, your training day in and day out. Even when you're having your food, small little games are made out of it to tell you how to say the bowls correctly, how to do the mudras correctly. And my first performance happened at the age of 8.
Yeah.
And ever since I figured that this is going to be a passion for life, even though I was, for the longest time, I didn't think that I'll take this up as a career. I had my own misconceptions about it as a young girl, as a teenager who's been growing up in a metro city. But I
What did
soon
what did
figured.
So I'm going to stop you there because a lot of people here have this conflict, right? And a lot of people, we've been seeing this question coming from a lot from many people. I spoke to an artist yesterday who's a lawyer before, right? She also tried, and she had that artistic talent, but because of the societal pressures, because of the thing, not knowing where the profession will lead her, she became a lawyer first. We also spoke to an actor who was also a lawyer first. He came from a judge's family, started with taking up the profession, and then went on to pursuing an art form. So what did you want to become, and how did you change your opinion?
Sure. So this happens a lot of times, and especially with the performing arts, because
Yeah.
the career span is very short. You can only perform till the time your stamina is up to the mark and you're physically fit enough to do a show which lasts for 2 to 3 hours. And the other thing is that popularly people think that this is not economically sustainable. The common question that keeps coming up is, अच्छा dance तो करते हो पर करते क्या हो? Because almost as if you cannot earn a living out of classical music and dance. So I was a very academic child. Like I was very studious, and I loved to study for 12, 14 hours a day. I'm sure um, that's pretty normal in the field that you come from. But for someone like my family, this was very rare. And I wanted to do civil services, and I thought that joining the bureaucracy is really the ultimate aim of life, because you have a very stable, secure kind of a setup, and then you can on the parallel side also pursue arts. But the problem is that when you want to do something with that kind of purity, with that kind of sincerity, you have to give it your all. You cannot divide your time into two things, and especially two such demanding careers. So um, I figured very soon that, if I have to prepare for my civil services exam, I'll have to completely give up on the riyaz of Kathak. And that was something that I was not ready to do. So I decided that come may what, dance is going to be my calling. And that's how I took the decision.
Yeah, yeah, very inspiring. So what I mean, you've learned from the very best, right? Like you mentioned, you come from a family of dancers. You've seen it. It's in your blood, as they say. You've seen it since you were very young. You've been doing it since you were 3. So what have you learned from dancing? How has that molded you into a better person, into a more patient individual? And also the topic of dance for joy, right? How dance brings you happiness and joy, especially in the current times. What are your views on that?
So, this is something that I love to talk about. Even in my TEDx, I have always mentioned this, that, as a dancer, there's one thing that you learn as you're learning the dance form, that is persistence and perseverance. Because classical arts are not something that you can learn over 2 months of summer holidays and just be like, oh, you know what, I really know this dance form. It cannot happen like that. You have to spend years, and you know that it's not just about how talented or some children have God's gift. They are naturally so good at dancing. But even they have to spend that much time to nurture the dance form in their body and make it into a kind of muscle memory. So it teaches you a lot about how you have to just persevere and not give up. Not give up because ek saal mein nahi aaya, do saal mein nahi aaya. It's a long thing. And you have to dedicate your life to classical dance and music. The other thing that I feel uh, is very relevant in today's time is that it teaches you to be calm. It teaches you to hold on to your emotions, process them, and then in a very nuanced way release them. I see, without demeaning any other dance form, I see that a lot of the times, a lot of pop dances um, have a lot of aggression in them. So much aggression in the way they approach the dance form, that I do not know how it affects the mental faculties of the students who are learning it at a very young and impressionable age. In classical, it's the opposite, because you're being taught thera, you're being taught how to stay calmer, almost like a meditation, because there's a lot of breath work that we have sort of adopted from yoga into the classical dance forms. And that works beautifully and very close to the theme that you had kept for today, which is of mudras.
Yes.
Because the mudras are also meant to calm you down, to create concentration, to be able to live a more peaceful life. So those are things that definitely come to you as you learn classical, in addition to, of course, getting to know your culture much better and understanding the values and ethos of your culture.
So, talking about mudras, and that's the topic, right? What is the significance of mudras? Do mudras, also have some sort of health benefits? Since we are talking to a large audience who's interested in preventive health, mental well-being, inner peace, and that's really the topic during the pandemic, right? That's the most important thing. Everything that people do, they want to do either to be fitter, to have better immunity, to be happier. That's really what it is.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm no authority to speak on health or preventive health measures, but what I can tell you about mudras and how they are used in Kathak specifically is, dance has this very beautiful thing about itself, that you don't need a language, you don't need to understand each other's words to be able to feel what the dancer is emoting, because it's based on the basic navarasas. You can be happy, you can be angry, or maybe you're just singing a love song in Tamil, and I do not know the language, but with your expressions I can feel that emotion and also feel the the joy or the euphoria of first love. But with mudras, it comes with a more thought out method, more scientific, I think, method. I would not get into how true it is, how apt it is, but I'll just tell you what I have learned or what I've heard from my elders. कि जैसे ज्ञान मुद्रा होती है, which is like this, which is also our first position for Kathak, like this. This is one of the most common mudras that are used in yoga also for meditation purpose. It's uh, created with the idea of increasing concentration and relieving stress. And you're dancing in that mudra in Kathak the entire time. So while it's a joyful thing, while you're in motion, it's also having that meditative effect on you. It's supposed to be connecting the cosmic energy with the pranic force inside your body. And so we have the Prithvi Mudra. So Prithvi Mudra is like this. So we usually use this mudra to show, say, the crown on the head of a king. So this, if I'm doing this on the stage, you would think like, okay, I'm showing a king. But why specifically this? I could show a crown like this also. I could show a crown like this also. But there's a thought behind it. That so Prithvi Mudra portrays self-esteem and highest levels of confidence. So anyone who's practicing the Prithvi Mudra is going to have the highest levels of confidence, and which in the olden times were commensurate to a king. So that's how these mudras have sort of come into value. Or even for that matter, Pran Mudra, which is the first two fingers like this bent onto the thumb. Now, when you're sitting in the yogic posture and doing meditation, this is one of the most common mudras that I used. But in Kathak, it is shown as prayer. So when I'm teaching young kids any kind of Guru Vandana or Krishna Vandana, this is how we start the prayer, because this is how we are meditating in the first place. So within the dance, we're also doing that kind of healing, telling them what is the way and connecting their life energies with the cosmic energy.
You mentioned, teaching children, and you mentioned teaching different people. What changed during the pandemic? How, everyone went from physical lessons to online lessons, and obviously in an art form, it's difficult to do it online, but it also obviously opened up avenues. You could, that's what I was saying. A person sitting in San Francisco can now learn from their guru in India. So what were the hits and misses when it came to online teaching of a classical art form?
I think one of the biggest drawbacks is the energy exchange cannot happen. When you're sitting in front of a screen, you cannot feel the energy flowing to and fro between the student and the teacher. The benefit has been that people who were not able to do it or pursue their passion due to lack of time, due to distance issues, they have been able to go back to their arts. So in many ways, we've had a lot more people flocking back to dance and music, which has been great. But I feel like in the longer run, it's always nicer to go back to physical training, because um, what um, what you learn in person through absorption, through osmosis, is something that you cannot learn just by looking at a screen. However, I feel that given the times that we are living in, and given the distance that everyone has now, it's a great initiative. I think it's also, the pandemic has forced us to take a leap forward. And if we have the technology, then why not? When the LP records came, you remember those black discs? When they came in the beginning, the classical artists were against it, because they were like, I don't want people listening to my divine music when I am cooking in the kitchen. When someone's cooking in the kitchen, it's so derogatory. But now we know how much value those LPs hold, because that's the only tangible recording we have of those maestros. So I feel that you have to sort of embrace technology and the change that comes with it. You have to, of course, also adapt your teaching techniques. I have, as a person, definitely learned to be a lot more patient thanks to online training. But I feel like it should be a hybrid thing, flexi thing, where you are able to meet your teacher or your guru in person, because those energies are something that can never be replaced, and at the same time make use of the benefit that you have of the technology.
So are you? I mean, online, how do you correct someone's mudra? How do you correct someone's posture? Has that been challenging? Because obviously, a lot of Kathak is about holding a posture. It's about holding a mudra. It's about understanding footwork. And I mean, I've trained in Kathak for about 9-10 years. I started when I was very very young. The joy of your gurus, the joy of actually meeting your guru when you were dancing, all of that, you can't replace that, right? And I don't know if the current generation, the ones born in the past couple of years, will ever experience the joy of actually going into a going to actually get physically trained. So one, how do you do that online? And two, are you back to are you doing offline training also right now? How will the hybrid approach work going forward?
So you're very right when you say that atmosphere of going to an institute and being with other dance students and sharing your notes, that is it's an experience. It's a part of that experience of learning, and it also creates that community bonding. What we do online is we have usually an instructor and an assistant to demonstrate what's happening. So, because I cannot actually hold the hand of the student and make the correction, I do it on the assistant so that the child can understand it better. The difference is that when they're learning in a physical class, offline class, they're learning in 3D. Online, it's 2D. So they do not understand if I'm holding my hand, how far is my hand from my chest? You can only guess. For someone who's already learned, probably the guess would be right. For someone who's never learned, they'd be really off the mark. So then I move them around, show them the distance, that this is the amount of distance that you should have, and things like that. We rely a lot on Zoom recordings. We also rely a lot on feedback videos. So we tell them to do their homework, send us the video back, and then make small little corrections on it. It's a tedious job, slightly slower also than physical classes. What I can teach in one class physically, on online it would take me about 2 to 3 classes. But beyond that, I feel like if someone is driven, I definitely feel it works. In response to whether we have started offline, yes, we have. And it works beautifully. These flexi classes work beautifully because it allows for students to not miss their class. For example, if you're not able to come to my class one day and you say ki oh aaj to miss ho jayega, and the next week fir miss ho gaya, and the third week you're like, oh, I don't have the time to do it. Rather than doing that, attempt whenever you can come in person, maybe at least once a week or twice a week. And then beyond that, learn online so that you do not break that chain, break that bond. You stay connected with the arts, and there's that little bit of movement happening in your life every week, which is very important.
We have lots of questions, and before I get to the discussion, I think let's answer some of them because they're very, very relevant questions.
Sure.
Someone's asking, what was your favorite part about learning the art of Kathak?
I think my favorite part about it was exploring myself and my own mental space as an artist. As students, we are expected to delve into our emotional side, pick out emotional experiences that have really shaped us in order to emote on stage. So, for example, if I have to show a piece where there is a lot of sadness and a lot of pathos, and I have never ever felt it in my life that strongly, there is a good chance that I cannot emote it on stage. So, as students, we are taught to be vulnerable. It's a very sensitive and a very
hello, ma'am.
risky thing.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think that's been my most favorite part. Abhinay as an entire concept within dance is my favorite.
The next question is from Pooja. She's asked, you're learning from the very best, Pandit Birju Maharaj, your grandfather. Did you face any pressure? What did you learn from him?
I was so scared of him. He doesn't scold at all. So his thing is that he doesn't scold you for the right thing, for the wrong thing ever. So you have to Guess for yourself. He'll do the corrections, but if you have upset him, you are grasping in thin air because you don't know. The real pressure is on stage because while you learn from the very best, you're also compared to the very best once you're on stage. So that gets a little tough at times because you have to hold your own. But I think Touchwood God has been very kind, and I've been able to do a decent job out of it.
Any advice that you would want to impart to budding dancers, people who are wanting to take it up professionally, or just take it up because it brings them happiness and joy, or it's their passion?
For those who are doing it for the joy of dancing, for the passion that they have, while pursuing something else, or not necessarily pursuing something else also, remember that not every passion needs to be monetized. So if you dance and you have great joy in dancing and you're making videos of it and putting it on Instagram, don't try and suddenly start becoming an influencer, because there are people who are more equipped for doing that. And maybe what you're doing is for recreational purposes. This is not meant to be monetized. While if you're good at it, please go ahead. There's no problem at all. For those who are doing this professionally, I would say that by all means entertain, especially for those who are doing classical arts. You should now, because we desperately need to connect with today's generation and give them something valuable in return for their time that they give us. And that only comes with when we add some value to their life. So entertain them by all means, but ensure that you do not sell your soul while you are entertaining them. Don't do things which is on the level of cringe pop or diluting the very structure of classical arts because it gets you more views, more followers, or more people in the auditorium borrowing CT, because that's not the ethos of classical. Wah kya baat hai is probably the ethos of classical. But if people are hooting and cheering for you, then probably you're not catering to the right audience.
Yeah. Tanuja is asking for people who are struggling to balance studies and passion for dancing, and I'm sure a lot of people who've logged in here would be going through these questions. Can you give any ideas how to do both? How do you kind of better optimize your time?
So, there's this very famous sitar player, Ustad Shahid Parvez ji. I was interviewing him for one of our TV shows, and he told me this one very wonderful thing. There was a time in his life where he was studying in his college, he was doing his undergrad. He was also doing a full 9 to 5 job and also doing his riyaz because he wanted to be a soloist. So, you have the time when you want something that badly. It's really a question of, do you want it that bad? So for people who are trying to manage their time and are trying to optimize it, I would say that consistency is the key. It's not really about, if you ask me, I do a minimum of 4 to 5 hours of riyaz every day because this is my profession. Just like you would go to the office and spend 9 to 5 at your work. My work is this, so I spend my time like this. But someone who's trying to balance it and you cannot give that kind of time, ensure that just half an hour, but every day. The key is every day. हमारे यहाँ कहावत है करत करत अभ्यास जन्म की होत सुजान. तो ये करत करत अभ्यास वाला जो कॉन्सेप्ट है वो छोटे चंक्स में हो, स्मॉल लिटिल हो, बट वो होना जरूरी है. सो दैट्स, डोंट थिंक ऑफ क्वांटिटी, जस्ट थिंक ऑफ क्वालिटी रियाज.
Is there a right age to begin the journey of classical dance or any form of dance actually?
If you start young, you are at an advantage, but that doesn't mean that you cannot start later. If you start around the age of 6, 7, you are able to grasp the most, because it's been proven scientifically that children are able to grasp the most at that age. They are at such an impressionable age. Yeah. But I've also seen professional dancers who started at the age of 30. So they started learning, training at 30, and then they made a full flourishing career out of it also. So not really. I don't think so.
Do you believe in it? There is an imbalance in the ratio of men and women in Western dance.
Interestingly, up until a few decades ago, women were not allowed to do Kathak. within my family, 9 generations of dancers, and it's only in the 8th generation that the first female dancer in the family happened. She was allowed to dance. So this shift has happened very recently. I would call it a post-independence shift, when classical dance and music or performing in public was not looked down upon anymore. Because उससे पहले तक quote unquote अच्छे घर की लड़कियां परफॉर्म नहीं करती थी, या इन पब्लिक अपना आर्ट नहीं प्रेजेंट करती थी. So now if you say yes, there is predominantly there are more female dancers. Having said that, I feel some male artists are doing brilliantly well for themselves, and it is only a matter of time where we find that balance again. And I think it's also the wave keeps happening.
What do you think is the portrayal of classical dance in Bollywood, for instance, right? Because a lot of people learn about different forms of art. A lot of children also pick up different forms after that. So I mean, what are the various kind of, what do you feel is the right portrayal, wrong portrayal? Are we not doing justice to our classical art forms because of cinema?
So this is a very tricky question, because there are a host of, there's an entire nomenclature that has been created around semi-classical, Bollywood, Kathak Bollywood, all of those things. And in the name of that, a lot of dilution to Kathak is happening. However, so my own grandfather has choreographed many songs for Bollywood, for which he's won the Filmfare Award and the National Award. It is not like there hasn't been pure Kathak depiction in films. It has happened. Muzaffar Ali ji's film Umrao Jaan happened. Sanjay Leela Bansali's film Devdas. We've seen pure Kathak happening. But a lot of the times, the mistake that happens is that the choreographers, they themselves haven't learned the art form in much detail. And they put in a couple of steps of Kathak, and then they call it a Kathak song, or they call it a semi-classical song. I do not really agree with it. But Bollywood is a very popular media. The kind of reach that Bollywood has, no one can deny it. So it is important that people are able to understand that you don't need to show Kathak only in a period film. Only when we're talking about a film which was, आज से 100 साल पहले, तभी वहां पे उसमें कथक का सीक्वेंस हो सकता है. People dance Kathak today also. Radhika Apte is a wonderful Kathak dancer, and she does not belong to a period. She is contemporary. So we have to change our mindset and also be confident that pure Kathak as a dance form is equally enticing, exciting, and appealing to the eyes of the audience too.
Paramita was asking, these days kids are more inclined towards Western dance forms, maybe because of the influence of television or social media. Exactly what you just also said, right? That you show a Kathak sequence only in something which is showcasing a scene from 100 years ago and so on. What should be done to make children understand the importance of classical dance, to make them passionate about doing classical dance? A lot of people think Western dance is cool. Instagram is full of young teenagers doing different dance forms, Western dance. They're putting up posts, they're putting up their own videos. How do you actually get people to appreciate classical dance from a young age?
Naina, I have a question for you. When was the first time, and how was the first time you tried sushi?
It was, I mean, you had to get used to it, right? Eventually, I mean, I really
liked it. So you possibly either went to a restaurant where they were serving Japanese cuisine, or you went to a party where you were served some, right? Yeah. And then you acquired a taste for it. Yeah. Because you felt like, this is something interesting. I do not really understand how this works, but because it's very different from the Indian cuisine on which we have grown up. Similarly for classical, as parents, Parumita ji, you should think of taking your child to a restaurant where they serve classical music and dance, and introduce them to it. Because without introduction, how will they ever know whether they like it or not? As for Western dance forms, I feel that relatively, I'm not talking about Western classical dance forms like, say, ballet. but pop styles or the non-classical styles in the Western world, they take slightly lesser time to learn in comparison to Indian classical dance forms. So kids find it faster, easier, and quicker to pick up, and then also further put it on social media and gain popularity. But as people around them, as their elders, as their guardians, our job is to help them acquire that taste because it's a very refined taste. And the ones who love classical then only love classical, then they do not want to do anything else. So the idea is that you have to introduce them, just like you introduce your child to different kinds of food, different kinds of cuisines, cultures, cities, like that.
I've got a personal DM from someone asking, as we live in a typical Indian society where families don't support their children in pursuing dance as a career, like you'd also mentioned, they don't think that it's something that could be um, a profession which would yield you a monthly income. So, what is your message for all families as well as children who want to pursue dance as a career, who may have wanted to do it at some point of life, but they give it up because they were told by the society that this is not a profession, this is not a career choice, you will be struggling, you will be you will not be able to be as successful as everyone else. And there's also a notion, right, they say that people who come from families with dancers, they take that up as a serious profession. Everyone else is told that it's not your cup of tea. There's so many other people who are already out there doing a great job. I've seen a lot of people getting discouraged over the years to pick up any of their passions when it comes to art forms. So
Sure.
what is your sort of message to families out there and to the people who may give it up because of the pressure that they feel?
Um, I don't think there's more pressure in arts than the medical field, and yet you tell your child to go into the medical field. And I don't think there are as many dancers as there are lawyers, but you still feel that a profession in law is more viable than in classical. So I really don't think how this logic works, understand how this logic works, but I tell them one thing, that if you are good and if you are sincere enough, there's always space for one more in the fraternity. Even if the pie is small, luckily for us, the pie has been becoming bigger because now a lot of corporate entities see this as almost a status symbol for patronizing classical arts because they feel that there's a lot of gravitas in it. And international audiences are really warming up to Indian classical music and dance. The only thing that I wish we had a little more was patronage from the government because that post independent India we did see, but last 20-30 years we haven't had as much. But for all the parents and families out there, uh, a little bit of trivia is that the maximum number of Padma Vibhushans and Bharat Ratnas are for classical artists and not for lawyers or for other professions. So um, it gives you great recognition, it gives you great fame, and it also rewards you handsomely if you are good at it. The idea is you cannot be mediocre and then say कि oh वो इस field की गलती है. If you are mediocre, then no field is good enough for you, and there's competition everywhere. We are an overpopulated country, so there are no two ways about it. But if you're good enough, then there's always space for one.
Jagya's asking, since the pandemic, physical classes are shut, there's a paradigm shift of dance, everything is online. Do you think, someone who just wants to start their journey with classical dance, do you think they should start it online, or they should wait for the studios to reopen, for things to get better? Will there be a difference in their learning? Will there be a difference in their experience just because things are happening online?
Difference in experience, yes, of course. Difference in learning, not so much. You can definitely start. One thing which I feel is much more important right at the beginning is you should have more time. So if online classes allows you a more flexible schedule and fits into your schedule much better, you should definitely start online because offline requires for greater commitment and greater effort. which in the long run is a little more difficult to keep up with. So I think it's a great boon for people who are wanting to pursue it and don't have the time. You should straight up go for an online class.
Someone's asking tapasya versus sadhana versus inborn talent. What are your views on that?
So tapasya and sadhana are very, very close to each other. Inborn talent can only take you this much. There is a stagnation that you will hit very soon with inborn talent, but tapasya all the way, all the way. When I started off, I would cringe at my own videos. Like I would not watch my own performance videos because I used to feel like itna kharab. So tapasya, it takes. You have to keep going back to it, and even if you're not getting it, just keep at it, and eventually, almost like a revelation, it'll come to you suddenly, and you would be like, अभी तो मैं सोच भी नहीं रही थी इस बारे में और अभी कैसे समझ में आ गया एकदम से. So there's no technique, there's no formula for it. You have to just live in it, struggle with it, and when you make that struggle a part of your daily life, it just comes a little more easily.
So I'm going to ask you a little about yourself, right? Tell us about your institute. Tell us how many people, you take classes for on a regular basis. What is your daily? You said, you do three to 4 hours of training in a day. What does your week look like? Everyone wants to know here how you do it. What are the kind of things and practices that you follow?
Right. So I used to travel a great deal before the pandemic, and when the pandemic struck, I didn't know what to do with my time because I used to travel a lot for my solo shows and group shows. But the academy had been running for much longer, much before that. It's only during the pandemic that I really took up the role of teaching in a much more serious way. And at the moment, I have about 150 students training online with me and my instructors in various forms. And I feel there are many students whom I've never met because they are not in Delhi. There are some who very recently met me for the first time once the offline classes began, and we already felt such a strong bonding with each other. And I think that joy is unparalleled of being able to share your knowledge with someone. It has, of course, made me greatly more patient in how I teach, how I deal with everyone around me now, because offline you have to spend that much, you have to go that much more slower for them to understand multiple commands at the same time. So I'm saying, take your right hand to the right front corner, look down right above your hand. Now, so many commands at the same time can be a little intimidating. But I spend almost 12 to 14 hours a week training students online, and furthermore about 4 to 5 hours of offline training specifically. One thing that I love to do is doing riyaz with my students. So apart from doing my personal training, which is the 3 to 4 hours that we were talking about, I try and have my senior students come over and we train together with each other, which is where you actually understand techniques of how to practice. So when I say 3 hours of practice, one must wonder ki karte kya hai itne der? Because you run out of things that you have learned also after a while. So what is it that you practice? So those techniques, you build those techniques, you share it. It's like your own research is happening over your body. Which part of my body has lesser control? Which part my mind is able to control much faster? What footwork happens more easily? So these kind of things you start to know about your body awareness rises like anything. You become so aware about each muscle of your body and how it is twitching, how it is moving. So that is one thing that I truly enjoy. Other than that, other than that, I have to also go and learn myself, which is something that I have to go to my grandfather for. And that also happens at least 2 to 3 times a week. He's kind enough to give me his time. It's only now that he has time actually, because he's a little older now. He travels lesser, so he has more time for his grandkids, and we learn from him.
So I've got another personal DM, and someone's asking this question, saying that you have a classical dancing in your blood. You train with your grandfather. You have those kind of opportunities. I'm sure you're perfect at what you do, but do you also face any sort of stage fright? Do you face pressure of performance? Do you also make mistakes? Because that's what the person is saying, that they do often make mistakes even when they were competing here. They when they were competing live on Zoom, they made mistakes. What are your thoughts on that? Because they're like, we don't have that kind of training, we don't have that kind of access.
So Nana, I must recount this experience with you. The first time when I was put on stage, I must have been what, 7, 8, and I was taught this beautiful composition in Kathak, which is a Holi ka composition written by my great grandfather. So my whole family, with a lot of um em- emotional involvement, taught me this piece, and they took me to school and they like, "Ab to bacche perform karo." And the curtain opened and I looked at the audience and I was zapped. I was blank. And the song started playing. I did bhangra to it and I came back. I came back off the stage doing nothing of the Kathak that I was taught. So stage fright is a very serious and a very real thing. Happens to everyone. Uh, I was performing at the Madison Square Gardens, and you have a huge audience. Like wherever you look, there are people. But in that moment, you have to have conviction in your guru. You have to have conviction in what he has taught you. Because I truly believe that even if you can falter, his teaching cannot falter. So whatever he has taught you will come and save you when it's time. As far as making mistakes is concerned, all the time it happens all the time. So don't beat yourself up for it. I didn't get the name of the person who was messaged, but uh, the beauty of dance is that you're doing it while you're doing it here for a competition, but you're doing it because it gives you joy. So if making a mistake is making you sad, then it's defeating the whole purpose of dancing only, na? Let it give you joy. Even if it means making a tiny bit here and there. हर बार सब्जी थोड़ी अलग बनती है. कभी थोड़ी red होती है, कभी थोड़ी yellow होती है. It doesn't change the fact that you still love that dish so much.
I'm going to ask you my last two questions before we go on to announcing the awards. One is the role of makeup, costume, the way you present yourself when you're performing. That's what we were talking about earlier as well, an hour ago with someone else. That it's the whole look and feel of when you see someone performing Kathak or a Bharatanatyam. There is a lot of back end preparation that goes into it. You conduct yourself in a certain way. It's a visual sort of treat for everyone, but that's what someone was sharing, that it's also very difficult to hold that when you're doing, it's very difficult to kind of perform in so much with so many props, attire, your guru in your feet, all of that kind of. So what is the role of all of that? What is the significance of that while you're performing?
Sure. So because classical dance music, not so much music, but dance per se, is a very visual thing. It has to be visually aesthetic for you to be able to enjoy it that much. Because not only are you listening to the music, but you're also viewing the dancer. And if the dancer is shabbily dressed or just does not look like they've put any kind of effort in it, it takes away from that charm of the performance. So why is it that we do set design? Why is it that we do light design? Because it adds to the whole experience of watching a show. So I feel like it's extremely important that the dancer takes care of these kind of things, that the makeup is not too loud, it still looks very classical, your outfit is fitting you perfectly, it's not crushed. Especially in competitions, I feel like this matters a lot. As far as saying that this is a challenge sort of to wear and perform or have these things slow you down as a performer. It's like saying some person who's in the army saying ki, oh, वैसे सरहद पे जाके लड़ना तो बड़ा मुश्किल है. अरे, it is your job. You have to do it. So this is your professional hazard. घुंघरू बड़े भारी होते नहीं पहन सकते. ऐसे नहीं. डांस सीखा है आपने इसीलिए वो 12-15 साल की ट्रेनिंग हुई है आपकी कि आप ये इजीली कर पाए. All of these outfits, whether Kathak, I can specifically talk about Kathak, or even Odissi for that matter, come with a lot of cultural value and symbolism. Like in Kathak, there are primarily 2 to 3 type of costumes that you wear. One is the lehenga, the choli, lehenga, and the dupatta, which comes from the time when Kathak was a temple dance form. It used to be only performed in the temple, and with the idea of singing praises for the Almighty and the gods and goddesses, mythological stories. With the coming of the Mughals into India, it moved to the darbars of the Nawabs, and that is where the Angarakha or the Anarkali costume came into being, where you were, it was mandatory to have your head covered. So either you had a veil or you had that Anarkali topi or something like that with a feather on top of it. And the idea of dhila pajama, because wearing tight fitting churidars was considered obscene. So you had to wear these flare pants under those angarkhas. So it came from the fact that the Mughals had a very different idea of what is modesty, what is the pardadari system. So that influenced Kathak. And then, of course, we moved into the secular India where you were allowed to even perform with wearing a kurta and churidar and not necessarily have a dupatta also. So if I take away all of that and if I don't pay attention to the costumes, then how do you keep that history alive? There is nothing keeping it alive.
Your final message to people who won, people who may not have won, anyone and everyone who participated. We had Western dance, we had classical dance, we had folk dance, we had multiple different categories for both schools and colleges. What is, that's what we've been saying, that it's not about winning or losing. Like you also said, it's about years of riyas and years of practice, and it's about really being confident in what you do. And of course, our competitions were held virtually, so there is obviously a sort of technical lag often that happens. So what is your message to the people listening to this? They may have won, may not have won. Just your words of encouragement and congratulations to everyone for their effort.
I think it's one of the toughest things that they have pulled off. Doing an online competition and participating in it, kudos to you. I don't think I could have ever won such a competition. But for those who have won, congratulations. I think great job, well done. For those who could not make it this time, I think dance, music, or any art for that matter is a very relative thing. What I find the most beautiful might not be what you find the most beautiful. So don't think of any competition or any one result to be all binding forever. It doesn't talk of the true value of your dance form. You can keep growing, keep progressing, and probably the same performance in some other competition might win you a great result. So dance for your own joy and don't dance for any kind of result. That is probably the only thing I'd like to say. And a huge, huge round of congratulations and best wishes to everyone who participated.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. I know you have a busy schedule. Everyone here, we've been getting messages on Facebook, on YouTube. We're live everywhere simultaneously. So everyone loved this session. Thank you so much for joining us. I will, we will keep calling you back and interacting with you. I'm going to now hand over to Sakshi. Sakshi will go on to the award distribution for the remaining awards. So we've given out some of the awards and now we're giving out the first prizes for some of the categories. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the panel for such an informative and exceptionally educative session. We've learned a lot. I'm sure all of us can agree to that. Thanks a lot. So now let's move on to the winners. We are left with 2 categories. Okay. So the first category, the first winner for college dance group goes to Rajkumari Amrit College. Congratulations to you. Thank you and congratulations to Rajkumari Amrit College for winning first prize in Western dance competition. So we have somebody from Army College that participated in the folk dance competition group. Congratulations to you. You won the third prize. So if you want, you can come on stage and we'll, talk to you a little about your journey and congratulate you. Hi, congratulations. Please unmute yourself.
Uh, Thank you so much,
Congratulations to
ma'am,
you.
thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting the request, ma'am. Actually, we came from duty and we got late, ma'am. So thank you so
We
much, ma'am.
understand. That's fine. We completely understand. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations to you, dear.
Thank you,
How do you
ma'am.
feel? Tell me something. How did you practice? How did you manage practicing
Ma'am,
while also studying?
we are already in hostel itself, so it was practice was not difficult, but projecting ourselves onto the platform, since it was online, it was very difficult. The is not good, ma'am. So hours were replayed around 4 times. I should say. So, but ma'am, it was an awesome experience. Thank you, ma'am.
We had an awesome time with you as well. Yeah, I remember you, since you were in the Kant area, you had a lot of technical difficulties. So we asked for a video later.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Thank you so
all
much,
right.
ma'am.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for participating. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Congratulations. Cool. Congratulations to you, Army College. Now let's move on to the first winner in the dance solo category. Congratulations to Bhavna Adhikari from Lakshmidai Batra College.
ठहरा था। रात की जवानी पे चांदनी का पहरा था। तारों की डोली में आई झिल मिलाती जुगनू की बारात। सबके होठों पे ठहरी थी आके कोई बात। ढोल मंजीरे बजने लगी बड़ी तकलीफ था और झुमक झुमक कर नाच रही थी मेरी राधा प्यारी। झुमक झुमक कर नाच रही थी मेरी राधा प्यारी। जाने कहाँ से रात रचाने आया चला गिरधारी। मोरे पिया डरता है देखो मोरा जिया। ओ मोरे पिया डरता है देखो मोरा जिया। जमुना के तीर बाजे मृदंग करे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। हरे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। हरे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। अधरों के गीत मन में उमंग करे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। हरे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। हरे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। बातों में व्यास मन में तरंग करे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। हरे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। हरे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। इस देख देख दुनिया में रंग करे कृष्ण रास राधा के संग। हरे 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 कृष्ण रास राधा के संग।
Congratulations to you, Bhavna. Are you with us on call? That was a beautiful dance. That was a beautiful, beautiful choreography and beautiful body movement. Okay, I don't think she's here with us. Okay, so we have a special session to answer your question, Jisman. We have a session with Dr. Kaknu right now. We will have a lot of people on call. So I think the judges' special award will be declared. Will be declared at a different time, and I will just give you the time. It was also written in the schedule that we posted online. Please visit all our online platforms and our website to find the updated schedule. So it will be declared after. Give me a second. Yes. So the special judges award for debate and all the categories that I mentioned yesterday, in addition to art from recycle waste, painting and science modules for school kids, it will be declared from 6 to 7. And we will also, in that time frame as well, we will also have an open talent hunt where anybody who wants to showcase a talent on our platforms or to showcase anything they like to do, something, any talent they're passionate about, any art form, anything they would like to share with the world, can come on screen with me from 6 to 7, and we can have you on stage after we announce the special judges award for the categories I just mentioned, which are debate, mono act, art from recycle waste, not mono act, we've already declared those. Debate, art from recycle waste, painting and science models can come with me and join me from 6 to 7, where we will announce those awards, and then we'll have an open talent hunt where such talent.
At 6 p.m. now?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Jusman.
At 6 p.m. now?
Yes, 6 to 7. If you want, you can perform as well. So we can have you on stage and you can show us like a short anything that you like any art form that you enjoy or you want to share with the world, like you can show that to us as well from 6 to 7. Okay, thanks a lot. That was it for this session. Now we'll have a session by Dr. Kakru. Please stay tuned. It will be a very interesting session on COVID and COVID protocols, something that we all need during the current times. So thank you for being with us. Thank you for staying